Does the thought of filing your income tax make your head spin? Well, you are definitely not alone. In this explainer, we are going to cut right through all that confusion. We'll give you a clear roadmap of what you need, when you need it, and how to get it done. Let's dive in. Okay, first things first, let's make sure we're all on the same page. When you hear somebody talking about tax, chances are, like 9 times out of 10, they're talking about income tax. It's the big one, the one we all deal with. So let's break it down together.
So here's the game plan. We'll kick things off with the basics, then we'll jump into the specifics for companies, for individuals, that's you, and for trusts. And then we'll wrap it all up with a really simple toolkit you can use as your go-to guide. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty, starting with how companies handle their income tax. If you're a business owner, you're going to want to pay close attention here. This section is for you.
You know, the rule here is actually super simple and absolute. If you have a registered company, it has to file an annual income tax return. Period. There are no exceptions, no way around it.
So what do you file? The specific form your company needs is called the ITR 14. That's it. That's the only return for companies, so you'll want to remember that name. Now for the really crucial part, the deadline. And this is where companies are totally different from personal taxes. Your deadline is tied directly to your company's financial year end. You get a full 12 months after that date to file. It's actually great because it gives you the flexibility to line up your tax prep with your own business cycle.
So to file that ITR 14, the key document you need is your company's annual financial statements. But listen, here's a pro tip. Even though you have a whole year, you really should aim to get this done within 6 months. Why? Because these statements can get complicated, and trust me, you do not want to be scrambling at the last minute. It's just not worth the stress.
Okay, let's switch gears and talk about personal taxes. In the world of tax, you're called a natural person, which is just a fancy way of saying a living, breathing human being, not a company. This part is all about your individual tax return.
So who files? Well, this applies to you, to me, to basically any living person who earns an income. And remember, this is completely separate from any company you might own or work for. This is your personal responsibility.
And for your personal taxes, the form you're going to use is the ITR 12. That's the one. Simple as that.
Now, here's that big difference from a company I mentioned. Your personal deadline isn't fixed. It's part of a national tax season, which usually kicks off around July and runs through October. You absolutely have to keep an eye out for the official government announcement each year to get those exact dates.
The main document you're going to need is your IRP-5 certificate. That's what you get from your employer. But depending on your situation, you might also need things like your medical aid certificate, your pension fund certificate, or even a detailed travel logbook if you have a travel allowance. All right, next up, let's take a look at the requirements for a trust. This is another one of those distinct legal entities, and it has its own set of rules and its own specific forms.
So it's really important to remember that a trust is considered its own person in the eyes of the law. What that means is the trust itself is the one responsible for filing and paying its taxes.
The form for a trust is the ITR 12T. And hey, in a rare moment of tax form clarity, that T actually stands for trust. See? They make it easy for us sometimes. It's pretty easy to remember.
And when it comes to the deadline, guess what? Trusts follow the exact same rhythm as individuals. The filing period happens during that national tax season. So, just like with your personal taxes, you've got to watch for the official announcement to find out the exact dates.
And just like a company, a trust's tax return is all based on its financial statements. So that is the single most important document you'll need to get that ITR 12T completed.
Okay, we've gone through the who, the what, and the when for all 3 of these. So now let's pull everything together into one clear, simple view that you can use as your guide from here on out.
Now, what's so cool about this slide is it really highlights the single biggest difference you need to remember. For companies, the deadline is fixed. It's based on their own calendar. But for you and for trusts, the deadline is variable. It's set by a national announcement. I'm telling you, getting this one distinction right is half the battle won. And here it is. This table just brilliantly lays out everything we've covered. This is your complete toolkit on a single slide. Company, ITR 14. You, the individual, ITR 12. A trust, ITR 12T. The form, the deadline, the key document, it is all right here. This is the cheat sheet you need to stay on track. So there you have it, the roadmap and the toolkit. We've demystified the who, what, and when of filing your income tax. So now, the only question left is the one right there on your screen. And after this, I really hope your answer is a confident